Okay, everyone, so big spoiler, my husband is dead. This was something I wasn't totally sure about before, but I am now, and for this reason, I don't think whoever has been living with me is his ghost. Let's start from the beginning. In case you didn't know, I found a death certificate belonging to my husband. This death certificate was dated from 20 years ago. Now, this wouldn't be weird if, well, he hadn't been making me breakfast this morning, and every single morning for the last 20 years, give or take. Since then, I have received a lot of advice, so I've decided to dig into what's going on. No pun intended. First, to check if the death certificate was even real. I was mostly sure it was right from the beginning. It even had a punched seal, but I had to make sure. I looked at it several times. I read through the identity section again and again. It says he was married, which checks out, and has my full name under spouse. It has the right address, right data, and so on. I was listed as the informant of the death, which is weird because I don't recall any of this at all, no matter how hard I try. I read forward to see where he is buried. It lists he died at the hospital in urgent care and that he was buried in his parents' town at the local cemetery. His parents lived several hours away, so I have no idea how I do not recall that trip. I called the funeral agency listed and asked if they could send me the paperwork related to his funeral, to which they replied it had to be requested in person to verify my identity. Of course I can't do it because my real husband, a live husband, would suspect my absence. So I took the certificate to the local police station in hopes that I could find some more information. When I entered the police station, an officer around my age greeted me, calling me by my last name. Strange, I don't know this guy, I thought, but we live in a small town, so it's likely he knows me for one reason or another. I greeted him and he gave me a smile, and I returned it. What can I do for you, Mrs. Smith? I showed him the death certificate and asked if I could see the records that were related to it. The officer looked at me with pain. Oh, Mrs. Smith, we never caught whoever shot Jim's car. It's a cold case, and we can't disclose the files without authorization. I'm sorry. Man, I do miss him. How have you been doing? I see you sometimes, but you seem to always ignore me. I believe you're mad at us for not finding the killer, and I can't blame you, so I never brought myself to talk to you. I was in shock. I've never talked to this man before. Why the heck is he being so familiar? And what did he mean by missing him? Did they know each other? And then suddenly his words clicked in my mind. The killer? What killer? Wasn't this a car accident? In panic, I looked at the death certificate in my hand, and in the header, surely enough, the cause of death was listed as murder. How could I have missed this? I was just so sure of what killed him that I never even looked at the cause. Exactly how much did I forget? I had to get to the bottom of this, and suddenly something occurred to me. Hey, I'm sorry to ask this, but I have a mold situation at home, and the pictures I had of Jim were all damaged. Do you at least have one in the file that you could maybe give me? That's all I want, just something to remind me of him. He looked around to make sure nobody was watching and shot a, "Wait here, look." He came back with a smile, holding a photo and a newspaper cutout, and as he gave me these, I felt a chill that froze me in place. The picture he gave me, I don't know the man in that picture. I have absolutely no recollection of him. I can swear I have never seen him before, and I can swear he's in none of the pictures that decorate my house or lay in the family albums. The picture in the newspaper showed the same man, the same face unknown to me. I read the article. It was a front page with the picture of my husband guy, along with the picture of a car crashed against a tree, with gunshots on the side and windshield. The content was as follows. Local man Jim Smith, a local resident, was shot dead by a passing car while driving. The car swerved towards a tree and crashed, being later found by a passerby family that called 911. Jim was found still alive and taken to the local hospital, where he ended up passing away 2 days later. Upon arrival, the police officers found the man with a bullet wound in his neck and one on his shoulder and one to the flank. That ended up being the one that caused his death due to lung injuries. The police is looking for clues and urges anyone who might have witnessed the shooting to come forward. I could not, and still cannot, make sense of any of this, and I'm not sure what to do, or even if what I remember is true, or if this is all a big scheme to trick me, a horrible prank, but who would even do something like this? I can't even imagine. I took one deep breath and read the last phrase, which made me sure I need to find out what's going on. Jim Smith departed in the arms of his wife, Alison Smith, and the couple's baby daughter, Eliza Smith. So, I died and our daughter died too?